You're listening to the Packernet Podcast Network.
You ever hear of test driving a phone network? Well, US Cellular is letting you test drive their nationwide 5G for free. Try out US Cellular wherever you have spotty service, your commute to work, that one spot in your house where your service dips. It's as easy as doing a little beep boop pop boop pop with your phone. That's the buttons, that's the noise they make. Anyways, test drive US Cellular's nationwide 5G coverage for free for 30 days. Just download the Try Us app. US Cellular, built for us. Terms apply. Visit uscellular.com/try us. Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome into Packers Total Access. My name is Clayton. You can check us out on packernet.com. Find me on Twitter at Packers_access. You can email us, PackersTotalAccess@gmail.com. Text us 865-658-5824. Joined alongside Tim live in Green Bay, Jacob up on the Wisconsin-Minnesota border. And obviously the story of the night is Tim's back in the house. Tim, how we doing, man? You got vodka in that bottle or what? Talk to me.
No, that's nothing but pure Ice Mountain there.
There you go. All right. Nothing wrong with that, man.
Yeah.
How you been doing, buddy?
I've been good, man. A lot of manual labor, but it's good. Good for the body and good for the soul, you know.
Yeah, that's right.
Helping out a buddy down in Milwaukee. So I'm here for a few days. I'll be at a couple practices this week, so I'm looking forward to getting back and talking some ball. I'm happy to be here. Good to see you, fellas. What's up, Jacob?
How's it going, everybody?
Doing
Eric's
good.
in the house.
Me and Jacob have seen each other more than we've seen our family the last few days. So we not seems like
We're doing a lot of streaming. Yeah,
we just take a couple hour nap and then wake back up and hop back on here and do another stream. So, but I know the numbers are cranking. Viewership is way, way, way up. I just want to give a special shout out and thank you to everybody who's supporting the channel and supporting the podcast and everything. I didn't expect it to blow up this soon in the season, but here we are. And again,
took it down the side.
I don't want to spend too much time on it, but I do just want to say thank you all for supporting the channel. You're absolutely amazing people. So with that being said, Jacob, we kind of left off earlier today as the team drills started to crank up, and I really like that, what we've been doing. You know, we kind of hit on all the stuff leading up, the one-on-ones, things like that. Then we get right into the actual team drills, and that's where we're going to pick up here. So obviously this morning we talked about the starting offensive line that Paul Brettel had tweeted out, said it was Rasheed Walker at left tackle, Sean Ryan at left guard, Josh Myers at center, Jordan Morgan once again at right guard, and Kadeem Telford filling in for Zach Tom at right tackle. It said Dillard again worked in at right tackle for Telford. So Dillard is still competing for that backup right tackle spot. Tenuta getting some right guard reps with the two. So Luke Tenuta is the one guy that we were talking about the other day, Jacob. We were like, okay, what's the latest on him? It sounds like he's at least healthy, and that's a big step for that guy, right? I mean, here lately he's been or at least last year. I don't even know if we seen him one snap last year. I don't remember it if we did. But what do you think about Tenuta getting some right guard reps there with the twos, man? Obviously, if Jordan Morgan does take the right guard spot, you got Sean Ryan playing a lot of backup left guard. How do you boys feel about Tenuta potentially making the roster here?
Yeah, I need to see a lot more. I think that it's a lot more telling that they've been playing Telford quite a bit. And then it looks like that, yeah, Ryan and Morgan are kind of that swing backup guard depending on where Elton is. So I definitely need to see some more. I like Luke Tenuta. He's another, if I remember, big guy that was athletic. So I know they liked him for a hot minute there.
Definitely. I know we got people in the chat already. Chris N says, committed year-round listeners here. Appreciate you, Chris. Always supporting the channel, man. Appreciate the emails too, buddy. Eric Sutherland said, we appreciate you guys like a clean pair of underwear.
Hey,
that is
Eric's right. He's got 3 of those, just like there's 3 of us, right?
Jarrell Lee says, okay, Kalen King made us proud. We're going to talk a lot about Kalen King today. We'll also talk about his niece, Jalen King, okay? Ron Sanville says Jalen King made it sound like they're more looking at him to play the slot. Just joking there, Ron, and it's a great point. We talked about it earlier today, and it was all over Twitter. Man, if Kalen can somehow, some way get in there and play the slot, and we talked about it a couple of nights ago, didn't we, Jacob? That his I think it was Jake Shavink said that his tools, his skill set fits more of that playing that aggressive press man, and we know they like to do that in the slot. Even with Joe Barry as a DC, there was a large amount of snaps last year where the slot would play bump and run. So that's going to be interesting there for sure. Let's see what else we had here from the updates. So jumping into the offensive side of the ball, I try to separate them offense from defense. Then we'll talk about how everything ended with the 1 and 2 minute drills that they kind of wrap up practice with. And then we'll also hear from Kalen King as well. But Wes Hockwood says, Love delivers slant to Reed with Preston in his face. Good for 20. Everybody is talking about Jaden Reed. I think it was Andy Herman that might have tweeted it out yesterday or the day before. As soon as Jaden Reed took the field, they were like, this dude looks even quicker than he did last year. Really, really excited about Jaden Reed. I know you've seen some of the highlights, and you may see a couple of clips here. Guys, understand that the clips we're showing, we are not showing 11 on 11. And I don't even want to dive too deep into this. I know there's some fans that are mad that people are showing the 11 on 11. I could care less, to be honest with you. We were talking offline, and, there's no team that's going to have a competitive advantage because they've seen 11 on 11s. But at the same time, the Packers are asking that we don't record and show 11 on 11s. I'm trying to honor that. So the majority, if not all of what you'll get here is stuff like this, throwing at the net. These are the things that everybody who's on the sideline are allowed to record. So we'll try to hit that. All right. So, but yeah, Jaden Reed sounds like he is already in peak form this training camp. Tim, we haven't talked to you in a while. I know me and Jacob hit on it earlier today. Jaden Reed poised for a pretty good season, I believe, buddy. I mean, he led the team in yards, led it in receptions, broke the rookie reception record for the Green Bay Packers for, like I said, receptions by a rookie receiver. I think that was Sterling Sharp's record, if I remember correctly. Yep. So, albeit probably played more games last year than Sterling Sharp did back in his day with the expanded schedule. But Jaden Reed looking good, man.
Yeah, man. They call him Bird because he can fly, right? I mean, this guy looks faster than even last year. And he was on our short list when we were talking about the receivers during the offseason who were putting in the work. We saw a lot of Dontavian Wicks and Jaden Reed getting some extra work in. Clearly, it's paid off for both of these guys. But, I feel like Wicks has got a lot of attention. Jacob mentioned this earlier, especially from the fantasy crowd. A lot of fantasy players are talking about Tay Wicks. I feel like Reed has kind of flown under the radar here a little bit, which is even more of an indicator to me that he's going to pop this year. He was a vital part of our success last year on the offensive side of the ball, and I think that's going to continue this year. But he's just such an elite weapon to have with the type of receiver core that we have here for Matt LaFleur to use on a weekly basis. So it's going to be fun to see him out there this year. But yeah, Reed looks good. We've always known he's had good hands. He's really sure-handed physical receiver for a guy his size and his speed. So I think as long as he continues to develop at this pro level and keeps putting in that work physically, and the sky's the limit for a player like Jaden Reed, man. I said it last year. I told him to his face, my first interaction I had with him. I said, you're going to be a star in this league, man. We're excited to have you here. You're going to be a star. And he's proven me right every single day. So 2024 is going to be a hell of a ride, boys. It's going to be
just
fun.
Plays the game the right way. There's no doubt about that.
That's right.
Eric Sutherland said, Seen Morgan was sitting out in all the 2-minute drills, didn't play with the 1s, 2s, or 3s. Is he hurt? Jacob, have you heard anything about Jordan Morgan potentially being hurt or why he may not have been in the lineup for those 2-minute drills with all three teams groups?
I have not heard anything about that. So I don't know if that was just maybe, I don't know. Is Eric, have we fact checked Eric? You know how he likes to spread around that fake news. Just saying.
Jacob, there's not enough hours in the day to fact check Eric Sutherland.
We have fact checked and verified he does in fact have 3 pairs of clean underwear. So that
is true.
We did get that confirmed, no doubt. Yeah, maybe we'll kind of Smitty. I don't know if Smitty's in here. Smitty is in here. Smitty, see if you could do a little combing through the old X there and see if you could find anything on Jordan Morgan sitting those reps out. It might have been by design, right, to get those other guys a few reps because it sounds like he's been killing it. I mean, he handled Devontae Wyatt today is everything that I read, which is really, really impressive. M. Smitty says, aren't we the only team in the league that has that with that policy, Clayton? I don't know if we're the only team in the league, but there's not many of them that still have that, not being able to film with the open practice. It's kind of the point of the open practices, right? But I know the Chiefs, they don't have that policy, but also the Chiefs charge their fans to go to training camp, which is just that sounds like highway robbery to me. But Ron Sample said pretty much every other team shows 11-on-11. Wish the Packers would lighten up a little. That seems to be the large majority there for sure. And then Ron Sample says, Tim, Dubose is killing it, bro. Everybody has mentioned your name. Jacob mentioned your name. People in the chat mentioned your name. When we seen Dubose doing good on special teams, also did good in some of the 11-on-11 drills as well, man. I don't know, man. I'm going to pull this up real quick. It's just so hard for me to convince myself that he can make this roster, Tim. That's the crazy part. Like, you got Watson, Dobbs, Reed, Wicks, Melton, Heath. That's 6. They would have to carry 7 in order to have Dubose make the
we
roster.
know they're not carrying Alex Magoo, so
Yeah.
You're telling me there's a chance. I don't know, man. Crazy things happen.
Injuries happen too, Tim.
Yeah, unfortunately, I didn't want to use that word, but since we said it, yes, those things happen. And put it this way: last year at camp, there were 2 of the receivers that I really had my eye on were Bo Melton and Grant DuBose, and they both got hurt, and they both lost significant time. Bo was able to get back and play some meaningful football for us down the stretch, and kind of get a chance to showcase that speed and ability that he has. But Grant DuBose didn't get that opportunity last year. I think he might be the hungriest receiver on this team, Grant DuBose. If there's any, if there's anyone who wants it more than him, I don't want to meet that guy. Grant DuBose is. I don't know. I'm with you, Clayton. I don't see it either, because you just look at these names and you kind of know who the gimmies are already, and you wonder how many Coach LaFleur is going to keep. And you certainly would think a guy like Grant DuBose going to the practice squad is probably going to get snatched up and signed. I would think, especially after a decent camp and a heck of a preseason. So I guess I'm kind of looking at it that way. I'm looking forward to seeing him get some big reps here in the preseason games, and maybe he can fight his way up the depth chart. You never know.
Yeah, could be.
Tim, right now, you think DuBose would get snagged off special team or practice squad?
I think it's possible. I think there are teams that have horrendous wide receiver cores in the National Football League that would love a guy like Grant DuBose, who brings an element of physicality, speed, good hands. I mean, he's got a pretty well-rounded repertoire as a receiver, which is clearly why he ended up here and, playing in the green and gold and given these opportunities. I hope it is a long-term thing, but I see it as a possibility. I'm not saying a probability, but a possibility that he may not be safe on the practice squad when push comes to shove.
I had 2 teams that I was afraid that would snag a few of our guys off the practice squad or just random guys that don't make the bubble that were in the process of trying to play that kind of weird chess that he does. And I actually sent Clayton, I think it was a snippet of an article. It was one of them was the Raiders. The other one will be the Chargers. Both of those wide receiver cores are either decimated with injury or had guys early retire or just don't have a very deep core there. The biggest one would be the Chargers, I think, for me, but also we've seen how many different old Packers or ex-Packers just for some reason float on over to that Oakland team and start catching balls. But I wouldn't be surprised. Who said it in the chat that talking about how, I just think it's a gimme that Malik Heath is wide receiver number 6. I think that might be one to take a little bit. Yeah, Blake was saying one here.
Yeah, Blake B's got it right there. I mean, that's true.
Trent said the same thing.
Probably that battle, right? Heath and DuBose fighting for that last spot. Great and it's point. Like, you guys know how I feel about Malik Heath, man. Huge Malik Heath fan for a lot of the same reasons I just listed about Grant DuBose. There's a lot to like about it. I'm not saying they're similar players or similar receivers. I'm just saying these are guys that are kind of on that bottom tier of the depth chart that they can be difference makers. We saw Malik Heath make a difference in a handful of games last year in the small sampling that we saw with him. And I believe Grant DuBose is that cut from that same cloth. So I don't know. We'll see. We'll see, boys. Do you think we keep 7? I don't know if we keep 7, right?
I just don't see it, man. I really don't. Like, if we pull up the final 53 last year, and again, this is year to year, and injuries play a huge role, but last year we only carried 6. It was Christian Watson, Romeo Dobbs, Samori Toure, Jaden Reed, Dontavian Wicks, and Malik Heath. So if you replace Samori Toure with
Grant DuBose.
Yeah, that would have to be the spot. But again, we've got, hold up, man. We just talked about 6.
Bo Melton's not on that list.
Bo Melton, yeah.
Bo's making the team. We know that.
Yeah. So you would replace Samori with Bo Melton. It's going to come down to Malik Heath and DuBose. I personally think
that's crazy because we only have 2 quarterbacks and only 3 running backs. They're looking at possibly trying to keep 4 running backs.
We're trying to keep one of every position, ain't we, Jake? It's
that's
crazy.
Rough, man.
I mean, I kind of liked your point. You mentioned last week, I believe, Jacob. I was trying to catch up on some shows while I was working, and you mentioned that about, looking at special teams or some of these other spots, and like, can we get someone to pull a little double duty, free up a roster spot, and keep an extra receiver? I think those are like decisions that maybe go through a coaching staff's head, and when you get talent of this caliber and everybody's playing so well, you kind of have to start considering those options because you want to keep as many weapons as you can. But I agree. I think it's between Malik and Grant there for the final spot. It'll probably be 6, right, Clayton?
I think it'll be 6, most likely. Ron Sample said, as far as Jordan Morgan, it might have been getting his ass chewed, talking about Jordan Morgan. They said that coach, offensive line coach, why can't I think of his name, Butkus, was all over Jordan Morgan today. It sounds like he is coaching him really, really hard. So maybe there was something there. Jen Wright even asked, he had a false start maybe. Might have been one of those deals where they pulled him out. I don't know. Coach Lynn said, Evan Williams with another impressive day. Would love it if we get 3 safeties on the field in passing down or situational downs. He also went on, Coach Lynn went on to say DuBose will get snagged along with Heath. I agree with Heath. I don't know if DuBose would, but it wouldn't surprise me, Coach, that's for sure. And then Coach Lynn says Steve Smith was super impressed with our wide receivers. He spoke about our guys on NFL Network, so that's absolutely awesome there. All right, on to the next set of notes here. Tay Wicks, continuing to be Tay Wicks. Wes Hockowitz says best catch of camp by Dontavian Wicks, pulls down a 23-yard rocket from Jordan Love. So Tay Wicks picking up right where he left off last year, obviously. I'm trying to do these in order in which they happen in camp. What's up, Randy? Appreciate you swinging through, buddy. Wes Hockowitz, we were asking earlier, what's up with Royce Newman? We haven't heard his name at all. Wes Hockowitz said Royce Newman at right guard with the ones.
Hello, Newman.
So Royce Newman was the offensive lineman that replaced Jordan Morgan at right guard with the number 1s, with the starters in the 2-minute drill today. So is that them giving him a shot to try to play a role in that competition there at right guard, or is it something that maybe Jordan Morgan did to be penalized? That's the big question, right?
You guys think that it's have we seen any Jordan Morgan at tackle?
Not much.
Do you think that's like a decision they made already? Like they're going to just kick this guy inside for the time being?
That's what I'm coming away with, man, to be honest with you. Of everything that we're talking about notes-wise, to me it feels like most likely Javon Bullard starting strong safety alongside Xavier McKinney. And again, when you hear strong and free, take it with a grain of salt. Those 2 positions are so interchangeable in today's NFL and the complex defenses that are fielded today. Javon Bullard starting at strong safety. And then the other big thing that sticks out to me is Jordan Morgan at right guard, man. Now that could change in the blink of an eye with someone getting banged up, right? Mm-hmm. If Rasheed Walker, God forbid, were to get banged up, I would imagine Jordan Morgan would be the first look at left tackle. I could be wrong, but it just feels like that would be where they would go over Caleb Jones. But like I said, I could be wrong there.
It could also be like we just put the pads on too. We're kind of still in the earlier stages of camp. Maybe they are just shuffling a lot of guys around, getting different looks. I mean, even seeing Sean Ryan at left guard is a little different, right? Normally he was playing right guard a lot. So seeing him moved over there with the ones was kind of interesting, and I'm assuming that's because Big E had a veteran rest day or something, and they're just kind of playing musical chairs on that line. Because we've talked about this 1,000 times, right? Mike Wallace said it 1,000 times. You put your best 5 linemen out there. I mean, it's what you do. It doesn't matter who's playing where. If you can get your best 5 out there and play effectively, it's going to give you the best chance to win. So.
Yeah, no doubt about it, man. And so when you're talking about these names that are getting mentioned as rookies, obviously the one that pops up first and foremost is Jordan Morgan. He was the 25th overall pick. I just wanted to do a quick reference here I'm going to drop this down and pull up the draft board from our draft coverage. On my personal draft board, I had Jordan Morgan at number 33 on my board. So obviously them taking him with the 25th pick right there in that ballpark of where he was landing on the board. As we talk about these rookies through camp, I'm going to refer back to this just to kind of get an idea. It's for two things. Hey, here's where we had them, and also for me to take notes and go, okay, how close were we as far as the guys who are actually seeing some significant practice time and how effective they may be here early on. So that's where Jordan Morgan landed, though, was in the, the 32, 33 spot, somewhere around there. So, all right, next note. Jordan Love, Wes Heikowitz tweeted out, Jordan Love is back, and so too is the hate count. Gets LV in to bite on 3rd and 9. They went on to say hard count.
You ever hear of test driving a phone network? Well, US Cellular is letting you test drive their nationwide 5G for free. Try out US Cellular wherever you have spotty service. Your commute to work, that one spot in your house where your service dips. It's as easy as doing a little beep boop pop boop pop with your phone. That's the buttons. That's the noise they make. Anyways, test drive US Cellular's nationwide 5G coverage for free for 30 days. Just download the Try Us app. US Cellular, built for us. Terms apply. Visit uscellular.com/try us.
You're a podcast listener, and this is a podcast ad. Reach great listeners like yourself with podcast advertising from Lips and Ads. Choose from hundreds of top podcasts offering host endorsements, or run a reproduced ad like this one across thousands of shows to reach your target audience with Lips and Ads. Go to lipsandads.com now. That's LIBSYN ads.com.
Hard count, people, not hate count. He's not out there spreading hate on the field. It's all
Hate.
Player haters ball, right? Hate.
Player haters ball.
Oh,
gosh, you guys, I love you.
miss the old Chappelle.
Buck Nasty's mama's dish.
Yeah, excuse me, I gotta go change the water, and Buck Nasty's mama's dish. The way they kept cracking up at each other too, and they didn't even edit it out. So anyway, Jordan Love, I think he's going to master that hard count. You've seen it a little bit last year. You got it to work a couple times. That's something he definitely learned under Jordan Love or under Aaron Rodgers. There's no doubt about that. So really excited to see J Love take that next step, man. Got the contract out of the way. You can play free. You ain't got to worry about injury. Not that he would, right? But that hard count, man, that's a weapon, guys. It really is. Now, it's only so good unless Josh Myers snaps the effing ball, right?
Hey,
if you don't snap the ball, you miss out on that free play. Tim,
I
made
the mistake. I started reading the chat. I'm sorry.
Don't do that, dude.
Uncle Eric, AFAM, you guys behave. Who else is in here acting? Smitty.
They're all in there.
Smitty.
Yeah,
You guys are a trip right now. I love it.
Yeah, I just took a peek too. My God.
How dare you?
Of control already. So, all right. Next, I want to be able to mention the chat and put it up on the screen, but you knuckleheads, you get something.
As I sip my water that I'm sure somebody spit in.
One of the best lines.
We can put AFAMs up. This was pretty good. I like that.
He says easy, Smitty. And your, what did he say, faded?
Your Troy guy on faded jersey.
Oh, my God.
Oh, I love it.
You have to spit shine that thing, man. Get that thing looking good there, bub. Oh, man. All right, I'm crying over here, dude. This is embarrassing. I got tears rolling down my cheeks right now. Whew. Not those cheeks. Calm down, everybody. Okay. So, all right, next thing here, Michael Pratt. Pratt gets the job done. 12-yard checkup, and we're gonna dive into the 1 and 2 minute drills specifically in a minute. But this is a note that came from it because we're just hitting the offensive side right now. Michael Pratt gets the job done. 12-yard checkup to Jarvian Howard, and quick draw allow offense to spike the ball at the 24 with 1 second to go and needing a field goal. Practice ends with Carlson and Joseph both hitting from 55 on the left hash. So that's absolutely.
Say it again.
Practice ends with Carlson and Greg Joseph both hitting from 55
we don't
yards
care
out.
about Greg Joseph. He's not going to be kicking. Carlson hitting from the left hash. That's the headline.
Got it, man. I really do. So Michael Pratt, let's talk about Michael Pratt for a second. Where did we have him on the big board? If I remember correctly, he was fairly high, should be in the green. should be in the green. Here we go. Look at this. 132 was where he was at on my board.
Wow.
And if I remember correctly, we took him with the 245th pick.
Wow.
I'm telling you, I think he's going to absolutely whether they move forward with him or not as the backup, I think he's going to boat race Sean Clifford in camp. I'm sorry. I love Sean Clifford. I love the energy. I love him calling people the B word on the sidelines and just stirring it up against the opponents. But my goodness, man, Michael Pratt, I think the more comfortable he gets through camp, and I can't wait to see him in preseason. That's going to be so much fun. That's the majority of what we're going to see, right? I don't want to see any Jacob Eason. You just stand over and hold that clipboard, partner. I want to see a lot of Michael Pratt. What I want to see. So, again, Michael Pratt was 132 on our board, and we got him with the 245th pick there. So, all right, next note here. Moving along, we're flowing around. Anything you guys want to hit on an offense before we come back to the 1 and 2 drills? Anything else?
Just so the chat doesn't jump down poor John's throat. John is quoting Clayton, which he usually says around this point of the show. He goes, "This show sucks," and then people are like, "John, you joking, right?" And then they start joking. Shut up, Meg. Leave John alone. Leave him alone.
John, we got it, buddy, and don't pay any attention to those knuckleheads in there. I try not to, but they get me every time. But yes, I agree. This show does suck. 95% of the time, it sucks every time. You know what I'm saying? So
I don't know. I'm not a doctor.
Let's move on to the defensive side of the ball. We had an LVN signing. Had 2 coverage sacks for LVN as Packers secondary, giving no quarter in 2. So with the twos, with the backups, LVN had 2 sacks, albeit coverage sacks, meaning they probably held on the ball for more than 3 seconds. That was Wes Hodkowitz that tweeted that out. I want to see LVN. I want to see him on the inside, but that's a crowded room too, boys. We are deep on the defensive front, and that is the blueprint for building a successful football team in 2024. There's no doubt about it. All the good teams focus up front, and the Packers have done it every single year, whether it's Devontae White or it's LVN or it's Jordan Morgan. Seems like they're always going out and getting somebody on that front four for sure. So front 4 and 5, I should say. What's up, Rob Westerman in the chat? Celebrity in the house. You guys, please act normal in there for just a second till Rob leaves. Okay, he'll be gone in just a second. I promise you, because he knows this show sucks. So LVN, anything you guys want to add to LVN there?
I think he can play inside if we need him to, but you're right. We're pretty stacked up there, right? I mean, LVN though, he had a pretty good rookie campaign in my opinion. I think he played about to expectations. I don't know if he exceeded any expectations in his rookie year, but I think he played, at least from my perspective, he played about as well as I thought he would as a rookie. And he's a guy that looks like is just going to continue to grow and improve in this league. But, I kind of like him more off that edge. But kicking inside is something physically I believe he can handle. I really do.
Yeah, I do too. And that's the beautiful thing. Like we talked about how Devontae Wyatt looks like he's trimmed down a touch too. He could play defensive end in a 4-3 if we needed him to. Kenny could play defensive end in a 4-3. We know Carl Brooks can. Jacob, we talked about it. Bowling Green, I think that's where he predominantly played, right? You got guys that can go from the inside to the edge, and you got people like LVN who can go from the edge to the inside, man. It's just a very versatile group. Not that it's ideal to want him to do that, but still, man, it's a nice tool to have in your bag, man, for sure. So,
yeah, I mean, now these are guys, but to be honest, it would make sense if you were trying to figure out a way to make the absolute most out of your 53, like Tim referenced to what we talked about, where it's like if you got a guy on the offensive line that can also long snap, that can also punt snap, that can also, do the kickoff specialist, maybe a guy that's a holder is your backup quarterback, and then your punter is actually a kicker, so on and so forth. But like as far as the defensive line, like you talked about, does LVN take up 1.5 roster spots because he can kick in? And like we talked about with Carl Brooks, is he a guy that you consider? I don't know if you consider more than one solid player, or you know what I'm saying, like more than or half of a solid player, just because the fact, like, who do you count out on that? If you have guys that are so versatile, like I would argue even Preston possibly could do that here and there. LVN could do that kind of stuff. Brooks could kick outside. Even when we look in the secondary with how many different interchangeable parts there are with the slot corners and the outside corners and the box safeties and the strong safeties and all that kind of stuff. The only problem is even though we have guys that can be versatile, which could, free up certain quote unquote whether it's a quarterback 3 or RB4 or wide receiver 7 or whatever the case is, we're still there's just not enough spots to fill. So we're going to have to make hard choices. And I hate to say, I'm not saying that I want an injury to come. I'm just saying usually when the injuries come, we figure out a way to make that weird kind of 3-card Monty work where we're shifting around so many different aspects of the game using certain different rules. I feel like Goody's really good at that too. Like being like, oh shucks, this guy that's got all the eligibility for practice squad just tweaked his knee. I guess we'll move him over there for a week and then we'll sign this guy to the 53. And then, oh shucks, 6 days in, just at the deadline, this other guy who was healthy, he tweaked his pecs. And now I got to move this guy back off the squad onto the squad, this guy over to that squad. Now he's got 2 more weeks of eligibility here, blah, blah, blah. Like, I do think that there's probably somebody that's Charlie smoking cigarettes, connecting all the dots with the wires and the string in the back office. Just, I hope that's the case, but I don't know.
I see we got Murph in the house. Good to see you, Cheesehead Murph.
Murph.
You guys would take a quick second, hit that like button for us. Feel free to sub to the channel, share everything. If you like this kind of content, it'll help boost the algorithm, help other Packer fans find this channel and find our content. If you don't like it, hey, we appreciate you swinging through. Just don't tell anybody you didn't like it, please. That's all we ask, okay? So Ben Holden says, remember when Zadarius Smith was blowing up guards from the inside? LVN! ! That's a very good comparison. I could see him playing kind of that same type of role, right? Getting in there and mugging that A gap and doing a little NASCAR package look, that type of thing. John in the chat says, yes, Brooks was a stand-up in college. That big old boy standing up. That's wild to think about right there.
He was at everything in college. It was crazy.
Yeah, Blake B says, can't wait to see the LVN sack celebration again with the bow and arrow. That's my favorite, man. I thought he was trolling Travis Kelce last year, but that's his thing, man. He's going to do it all year. So I kind of like that celebration for sure. I remember they tried to outlaw that type of stuff in the NFL a few years back because it was promoting violence, anything acting like you were shooting any kind of device they were, cracking down on. So hopefully those days are behind us there. Blake B said, I'm sorry, Blake B. Prince says 3 new injuries, but all from the back of the roster. You were just talking about injuries, Jacob. So far, so good, man. Like he said, they've been on the backside, and it's not anything major to this point. I've seen a couple of things come across Twitter earlier, people tearing ACLs across the league, man. You hate to see it, especially these young players that are trying to make a name for themselves, man. It's absolutely horrible. United Bates, good to see you, buddy. He says, Love was talking positive about the D. Makes me excited. Seems a lot of people are seeing a positive in the changes. Hope it translates to real games. Me too, buddy. And I feel exactly what you're saying. That was on NFL Network. I would love to play that clip for you guys and gals, but I'm telling you, the AI would grab it. It would trigger a copyright, and we're just about out of the woods with all this stuff with YouTube. So we've been trying to play it extra safe. It sucks that we have to because we can't get answers, but it is what it is, and that's all that it is. But let's see. Antonio Universe says replacing most of the safety room and adding more backers has completely transformed the defense. It does kind of add a little more, as Brady Papinga once said, aggressivity, right, Tim? Like you get more backer bodies in there, man, and you're ready to smack people in the mouth as opposed to speed and agility and all that good stuff, right?
I agree. I mean, we pretty much replaced the entire safety room, didn't we? I mean, in one
other than Ant, yeah,
other than Ant Johnson. So
Zane Anderson, he didn't even play last year, right?
Yeah.
So,
I mean, Zane Anderson's a special teams. It's kind of like your ace in the hole. Zane Anderson is everything that we had thought that
Dallin
Levitt was going to be. Thank
Great.
you. I almost forgot his name that quickly. That's
good.
I careful now. Coach Bisaccia wouldn't like that, Jacob.
Hey,
you're an amazing person. You know that, don't you?
Clayton, in that Lombardi, it drove me nuts. There was a couple shout outs where they talk about Coach, but he says very clearly Coach Bisaccia.
Yeah.
Bisaccia. Dude, and I was like, oh, what the
Michael Lombardi will – now, who am I to tell a paisana that he is saying an Italian name wrong?
Yeah.
Michael Lombardi gets made fun of for mispronouncing names all the time. What people don't know is he's completely got that pterodactyl. Did you see that, boys?
I saw that.
He's completely deaf in one ear. And he says he struggles to pronounce stuff because of him being deaf in one ear. Could be an excuse. I don't like excuse-itis, Some people say I didn't say. Some people say.
I understand. You could be deaf in one ear. You develop a stutter in your mid-60s. You know, it happens.
I don't know. I'm not a doctor.
I'm not a speech specialist. I will get an email tonight going, it's not funny that you're making fun of people with speech problems. I guarantee it. Bro, the emails I have fielded lately.
Have you listened to this show recently? We all have speech problems.
Yeah. First of all, I would never make fun of anybody with speech problems. I just got done listening to The Water Boy, so he overcame a lot of adversity.
Why did you just say The Water Boy like a New York Jewish man?
He sounded just like Bobby Boucher.
The Water Boy.
I did see a clip that came across YouTube in a short version. I think it was today. Someone had created on Road to Glory on the college football video game Bobby Boucher, and they've done the sound bites.
No, they didn't.
It's money. Got to go find it. Type in Bobby Boucher college football 25.
He's like 5'9", 170.
They literally had it said water sucks. The water sucks, and it would freeze frame it, and it showed the whole offensive line and went, the water sucks. It was awesome, dude. Go check it out. That's a good use of your time there. But anyway, yeah, replacing most of the safety room and add more backers completely transform the defense. I agree, man. It does add a little bit more physicality, I think. We got Joey in the chat here.
Sorry.
Okay, well, that was a good time there. What did he say? Go ahead, Jake. I'll pull this one up.
No, it's stupid. He just said water sucks and Gatorade's better.
Yeah, you're drinking the wrong water.
You're drinking the wrong water.
Joey in the chat says, good to see you in there, bub. He says LVN has put on some muscle, looks like a more physical player this year. They may be looking, he is. They may be looking to kick him inside a little bit more. This one cracked me up. She said Murph with the line of the night, say Clifford's playing for the defense. It's been a rough start for Clifford, man. Been a rough start for sure.
Think we keep 2 quarterbacks this year, guys?
Well, I was just gonna say, do you guys think he makes it to practice squad?
The thing that worries me is like it doesn't worry me. The thing that would make me think Clifford could win the backup job over Michael Pratt is if Michael Pratt can't grab the offense quick enough, right? That's the only thing I feel like that would keep him, because it comes to accuracy and everything, decision making, it seems like Pratt is a little bit ahead right now of Clifford. We'll talk about it here in a minute with the 1 minute and 2 minute drills. So let's get to the man of the hour, the man of the day, the player of the day, Kalen King. We got a series of tweets that came out here. Paul Brettel said Kalen King with an INT and a pass breakup today. He's been spending individual reps in the slot, but during team, seeing some boundary time as well. This might be the most valuable backup cornerback we're going to have on the roster, guys. Another tweet, Wes Hockowitz says, pass behind Watson and Kalen King gets a clean pick off QB1, possible pick 6. So it might have been a pick 6 if they hadn't blown it dead, or just, how they do that with practice a little bit different. And then Wes Hockowitz had quote tweeted, King breaks up a pass for Wayne. He's had a nice day, and then went right back and said, dude breaks like hellfire on passes thrown his way. That's what we're wanting, boys. Aggressiveness, especially out of the slot. Tell you what, man, Keyshawn Nixon better watch out, dude. This might be Kalen King might come out here and say, you know what, I'm taking over this slot corner spot. Again, I don't think it'll happen too early in the season, but when it comes to Kalen King and our draft board, I had this figured out earlier. Give me just a second. Let me go to my play call chart here. We definitely had him on our board. There he is at a 148.1. So Kalen King, we had with a 148.1 grade. So here he is. He's in the 166 spot on our draft board. Now, again, if we go to where he was actually drafted, Kalen King was drafted with the 255th pick. Now, remember, we talked about how we reshuffled our board a touch this year because of the fact that Jaden Reed completely threw me into a deep depression that I couldn't figure out why they drafted him when they did. And it was because his previous year, not his final year in college, but his previous year was phenomenal. Kalen King, if you had the 2024 draft immediately following the 2023 draft, Kalen King would have been the number 1 corner taken off the board. It was pretty much hands down, unanimous across the board with anybody in the media. They felt like Kalen King was the best corner in the league now, or in the country. Now, obviously, he took a step back, but still, man, you draft that dude at 255, and if our board is remotely close to being accurate, we got the 166th best prospect. And really what that 148-1 says to guys, he's worthy of the 148th pick. It's just when you rank him, the 166 is where he landed. So
you know what's crazy too is that can you scroll just a tick up at that on that screen that you're on right now?
Yep.
Just about 10 picks in front of him. You got Max Melton, who we were all absolutely over the moon of, and then Travis Glover right there at 160. So it's like that grouping right there. There was also a lot of great I should say we don't know yet, but a lot of good talent that was picked right around that area too. So it's not like he was look at Xavier Legette's right there, who I just love. Kyrie Jackson, unfortunately, who passed for the another cornerback there for the Vikes, is right in that area grouping. Javon Baker, Jermaine Burton. There's a lot of great talent that's right there. It's crazy to me that he did fall that far. Like that is insane.
Yeah, definitely.
I think he's the steal of the draft, boys. We said it on draft night.
Dude.
I remember getting to those final couple picks and being surprised a little bit that we took Michael Pratt at 245. I thought we were going to pull the trigger on a corner there, and I thought that was where we were going to get Kalen King. But the fact that we got them both within 10 picks of each other is just a testament to Goody and our front office and what we do, man. I really do. I believe those two players could prove to be the steals of the draft. Michael Pratt and Kalen King, the last two picks in the draft, I think are gonna shine here.
Think about it, Tim. Who's been the biggest steals of our last couple drafts? It would be obviously, in my opinion, Rasheed Walker and Carrington Valentine.
Yep.
2 7th rounders that stepped right into major roles, and they actually produced pretty dang well. So
I agree.
Definitely. Here's what's crazy about Kalen King. When you see him here at the 166 spot, the only thing that drug him down, and I'm trying to remember what all these meant. I believe that wasn't the 33rd team. I think that was Daniel Jeremiah, maybe right there. No, that was the 33rd team ranking. So he was 45th on the 33rd team's big board at the time that I took the info down. He was 38th on the consensus big board, okay, at one point. And then this 708, that was his PFF grade for 2023. So he was 708th in PFF grade across college in 2023. But look at 2022. He's 8th overall. Like, it's just wild, man. The big difference. So if you were to remove the 2023 grade, you would have had an 8, a 38, and a 45. He would have been a top 50 player on our board. But that's what pulled him down was that PFF grade from last year. So just something to think about for sure. I'm going to drop this down a second. We mentioned Xavier Legette, and anytime you get an opportunity to do this, you do it, my friends. So we got Xavier Legette with the Carolina Panthers actually gave a weather report the other day. I hope it's loud enough for you to hear. Listen to this dude's accent. Everybody listen real close. It may be kind of faint. Hopefully it's loud enough.
What's going on, Panther Nation, man? This is Xavier Legette here, man. I'm just here with a weather report. It's a little bit cloudy out here, a little bit of rain. It's been raining all morning, but we're really excited to practice in the weather here, man. Good weather, it ain't too hot. How you doing? Keep fine.
I had no idea that he used to rap with Master P and I had no idea. Did you know he was with No Limit Records? I had no idea.
Yeah.
Bro, I'm telling you, I was wanting the Packers to draft him somehow, some way, so bad. Because people would stop making fun of me on this podcast if they heard that. I mean, he makes me sound like I've said 1,000 times, Margaret Thatcher. That's what he makes me sound. He doesn't speak country. He speaks cornbread. Go ahead.
Bullard's got a pretty deep Georgia accent too, but he's a little bit. You can tell he's aware of it, so he enunciates a little bit better. But dude, Legette, I love him so much.
I'm gonna be rooting for him all year, man.
Like, I swear, I would like to see that guy. Like, if we're having maybe a beer or two, because then you think they probably slide everything. Just go ahead.
He probably speaks better, to be honest with you.
Anyway. Oh, dude, Coach Len. That's exactly what I was thinking. He sounds like Gambit in Wolverine, the old school Gambit. If you watch X-Men, that was great.
Yeah. Many people say he sounds like Boonhauer too, off of King of the Hill. So I can see that for sure. All right, so let's see here. Let me get our draft board back up. See, we already got sidetracked. Somebody start speaking country, man. That's my language. You know what I mean? So, all right, up next, Evan Williams, another guy. Yeah, Boonhauer too. Love it. Wes Hockowitz says Clifford picked off by Evan Williams on a pass across the middle on first play of the number 2 2-minute drill. So this is the number 2 team 2-minute drill, ends the drill, and then the ones came up. So Evan Williams, again, guys, that's a name that keeps popping up. Where did we have Evan Williams? This is going to take a second. You guys tell me what you think about Evan Williams so far in camp, and I'll see if I could find him here because I had him a little bit lower, I believe.
Let's see how long he's running with the twos.
Yeah. Did you by chance get to see his interview today, Tim?
Who? No, I did not.
Evan Williams. So now if my numbers are correct, I believe he has at least 2 interceptions, if not 3. He's broken up a bunch of plays. He's been like kind of showing up in the backfield as far as like the run defense. And I don't know about you, Tim, but when we watched his highlight reel, I know me and Clayton thought, well, he's really good at shooting, the gap and blitzing off the edge and kind of being that HMM that you just send with his hair on fire. But like Clayton talks about, his biggest knock was he thought maybe his coverage skills, and he was like quite lacking in those. But what we've seen and what we, I guess, heard when he dipped into the college tape a little bit before that, because I believe he was at, was it Oregon before?
Oregon.
Yeah. And he actually had decent games where he held his own. He looked really, really well. Fresno, yeah, that's right. But he just seems like he is starting to shine. And again, we talked about, I posed this question earlier today, like what happens if we have 3 or 4 absolutely dogs at safety, and our worst quote unquote performer at the end of the year is a guy like McKinney. Like, what do you do with that? It's a great situation to have, but it's just weird to think about that could be a possibility from going from the safety group being arguably our worst position group to now being stacked out the gills to the point where we're trying to figure out what do we do with them all.
Yeah. It's just like we say about our receivers. It's kind of the same thing. And I think Evan Williams is, the coverage issue, could be a non-factor, but it's also, let's see how he looks in the NFL, right? And so far so good, but we're only a week into camp. We'll see once we see some preseason action. Like I said, I'm looking forward to seeing him running with the ones. I'm sure at some point that'll happen. At least, during some team exercises, probably as they mix things up. But he looks like a really solid pick in the middle of that draft. I really do. I mean, and Jacob, you hit it on the head, man. Our safety room last year was full on liability at times. And in less than a few months, we've completely transformed our safety room, and it's for the better. And I think Evan Williams is going to play a role in that. We just don't know how big of a role he's going to have.
And the biggest thing that hurt Evan Williams on my board, I had him in the 217 spot with a grade of 201.5. The biggest thing is, notice right here, we didn't have a 2022 grade for him from PFF. I just double-checked again, and I still can't find it on their side. So obviously his was a little bit lower in 2023 maybe than it would have been at Fresno State. But nonetheless, the big thing that drug him down there is definitely the 224 grade, which would have been the 33rd team. So the 33rd team was pretty low on him. And then the consensus big board, I believe, was low on him as well, if I remember correctly. I think that was the D column there. So that's kind of how he hit. Now, when I pulled up his grade from last year, his defensive grade at Oregon was 76.0, coverage grade 72.2, run defense grade 72.0, all pretty solid. Pass rush grade 89.1. So that's just screaming off the edge. And I don't know about you guys, but when I think of a blitzing safety, I think of Leroy Butler back in the day.
Yep.
Remember how they throw him in the box and he just get after the quarterback too?
This guy right here, 36.
Yeah. He could do everything, man. Could do everything. Hall of Famer. Love that dude. So Evan Williams again. And I had him at, here's what's crazy. I had him at 217 on my board. Look where the Packers took him though. They took him at 111.
Well, we moved up to get him, right?
Yeah, they seen something in Evan Williams big time, and it looks like it's starting to show in camp already, right?
What's crazy? Can you pull that just our picks up real quick?
Yeah.
Because it is crazy. Even now, as the dust is settled just a little bit, we've seen who these guys are. All of a sudden, the Morgan pick, we're living with it. We feel like we can use that. The Cooper pick, it's like, yeah, that makes sense. Bullard seems more and more like a steal. The Marshawn Lloyd pick, after we see him where he's been running around, we're like, oh, man, he looks explosive. The Hopper pick was one that I was scratching my head. And then the Williams pick, those were the two where I was like, I don't understand these and where they were sitting. Now I'm way more excited about Williams. I think Hopper is showing way more oomph or like a lot more than I thought, which justifies the fact, yeah, maybe I understand why they took him in the third. You got guys now like Monk where you're like, okay, I can see him developing into a second-year starter, down the line. And then Katana Oladapo, we're talking about the safety group. This guy's still sitting in bubble wrap. We haven't even taken him out. He's still got the fresh yellow hairs ready to go. He hasn't even seen anything yet. And then we still got like guys like Glover, and then Pratt and King are already making like actual contributions to the team day one. I think we look back at this list and things will be shifting in ways that we didn't think. Like, I think the biggest knock people said was the Hopper, the Williams, and the Monk pick. That they said we kind of fell off in the middle of the draft. Did we though? I don't think we did.
I don't think we did either.
Been really, really good.
I like the Tyron Hopper pick for depth. It adds some depth to that linebacker room.
And apparently he's been flying around looking decent. He's been under the wire.
Absolutely.
Definitely. M. Smitty says, yep, Tim, we did 126 to 111 by packaging, pick 190 and 126. So,
yep, that sounds right. Okay.
So we gave up 190 to climb up, 15 spots to get Evan Williams. So they seen something there that they liked. What that typically means is he is one of the final players and probably the highest graded player in that current tier of talent on their board. So there you go. Hooper is, I think he meant Hopper, right? Hopper is flashing already also is what Coach Lynn says. So there you go, man. Good stuff. All right, let's see. Let's move along here. We're running out of time. We're at the 49-minute mark, man. This is flying by. Absolutely awesome. All right, kickers. Got to talk about the kickers. Joseph, this is from Paul Brettel. He quote tweeted himself earlier, says, a bit of a switch up on field goals today with Joseph and Carlson both alternating reps. Both go 3 for 3 to start. Both are 14 of 15 in camp so far. And then he had quote tweeted that and said, Joseph good from 51 and missed from 53. Carlson missed from 51, but he was good from 53. So both are 4 for 5 on the day. So I think you got to err on the side of Anders Carlson if it's that close of a match, obviously. And Anders Carlson has a huge leg. You can't, that's something you got to really take into consideration if he's got a much stronger leg than someone like a Greg Joseph for sure. So let's jump into the 1-minute drills. Let's start with the starters, okay? And I love this aspect of our practices. This is really cool how they do this. So Andy Herman tweeted out, same scenario for the ones, down by 2. First, you know what? I guess I'm going in. I went in these back. No, I know I didn't go in backwards because it ended on the 3s. So let's just go with it. Same scenarios for the ones, down by 2, 1st and 10 at their own 30, only 1:05 left, 1 timeout. Royce Newman in at right guard with the ones for Morgan. Love throws 23 yards on a great throw and juggling catch by Wicks, 29 in coverage. Wicks got out 2, so he got out of bounds. Love hits Jacobs in stride, who picks up 5 and gets out of bounds. Mosby all over a screen to Jacobs. Screen game continues to be a nightmare. Timeout offense. 3rd and 7 coming up. Ball at the opposing 45 with 47 seconds left. No timeouts. I love this stuff. This is awesome. Offsides defense. Make it 3rd and 2. Could have been a hard count there, right? Love hits Dillon for a first, but it's an illegal formation. Back to 3rd and 7. 39 seconds left. Love complete to Love. Is there another Love on the team, or am I missing something?
Did he pull a Brett Favre? He threw a completion to himself?
Maybe he did. Love complete to Love for 5, 4th and 2. Love throws to Musgrave down the sidelines, but Musgrave stopped. Was an ad-lib play, and Love had all day. The defense wins. So the defense won there in the ones, okay? Now let's move on to the 1-minute drill for the 2s, all right? 2-minute drill for the 2s, 1st and 10 at the 30, 1:05 left, 1 timeout. Clifford immediately throws a pick to Evan Williams. A nightmare off season for Clifford. I don't mean to laugh, man. I love the dude. But so that was a quick little session there, obviously. He just comes down. All right, guys, listen, let's go down. Let's make sure we're getting out of bounds. We got 1 timeout. We got to come away with 3 here. We're down 2. Y'all ready? Break. Interception. All right, guys, let's go back to the sideline. So that's how that ended. Now, here's the fun part. 2-minute drill for the 3s. Michael Pratt at the helm. All right. Pratt check down to Wilson, dropped. Pratt, beautiful throw to Wayne along the sidelines, out of bounds, 1st down. Pratt incomplete to Wilson over the middle. For some reason, they are doing the play over, though. Okay. A near insane pick for Kalen King, but it falls incomplete. Pratt incomplete to Stanley on a slant. Pratt with a beautiful throw between two defenders to Wayne for a first down out of bounds. Diving catch from Wayne. Pratt complete to Starkey for about 7 on a slant. Timeout. Pratt throws for a would-be first down to Hicks, but it's dropped. Kalen King would have been right there for the stop. Pratt with a touch throw to Howard for a first down out of bounds. Pratt hands inside for a couple. Pratt almost doesn't get the snap from the center in time for the spike. Pratt spikes with 1 second left. A beautiful drive from Pratt to set up a game-winning field goal. I think they both, that's what we were talking about earlier, both of those kickers. Joseph hit from 51 and Carlson hit from 53, I think is what it was to end it up. So Michael Pratt took them down and won their 2-minute drill there, fellas. So that's how practice ended. And, of course, push-ups for the offense today.
Love it.
Yeah, there you go. Because the ones, I think, the defense actually won, if I understood correct. I have a hard time keeping up with that stuff, to be honest with you.
One thing I've always liked about those is that I guarantee you the offensive staff is doing the push-ups too. So it's not just the players, it's the whole unit. I love it. Coaches get involved. It's great.
Yeah. Something else I noticed too, with some of the videos people were showing from the sidelines and everything, Derek Ansley, Coach Ansley, he is very animated. That dude is all over the place. They said Ogabasi too is really bringing the juice. He's hopping in there and coaching his guys up constantly. Ogabasi's he's one of those get off the bus coaches. You want him getting off the bus first. So the opposing team looks over and goes, what is? Yeah, right there. That's what you're looking for, man. Take him to a bar fight, right? But just a quick little recap from Wes Hawkowitz. Kalen King gets number 1 snaps and immediately capitalizes. Check that off the box. Evan Williams keeps making plays in the Packers secondary. The refs were here, and everyone is still figuring out the new kickoff play. So everybody's still wondering, I don't know what the hell we're going to do about this kickoff play. So with that being said, let's hear from Kalen King real quick. Ryan Wood actually tweeted this out. I apologize if it's too loud. I tried to crank it up so we could actually hear it. But here's Ryan Wood talking to Kalen King, who had a phenomenal day today, playing both on the boundary and in the slot.
Picked QB1 today. It's always a good day. How do you feel about it?
I feel good. Just having an opportunity to compete with my guys, things of that nature. So I feel good.
What did you see on the play? It looked like you got a good break on it.
I just seen, I was just reading the quarterback, trusting my instincts, seeing the ball, made a play on the ball, broke on it.
So there you go, eyes on the quarterback. One of the techniques too that Jeff Hafley teaches, and I think it was Coach Haddad explained this to us, was using that I think it's called a fisheye technique, where you're playing man coverage and you've got your eye on the quarterback. You're watching the quarterback through your work, your coverage, right? So maybe that's something we'll see him be a little more aggressive, reading the quarterback's eyes like you typically do predominantly in zone coverage when it's not a very matchy zone. But nonetheless, man, Kalen King might have something there, fellas. That's pretty much it from camp today, though. Let's get your all's parting thoughts. We'll wrap this thing up.
Anders Carlson's our kicker. I'm just going to continue to hammer that point home. I agree 100% with you, Clayton. If him and Greg Joseph are this close at camp and camp ends this way and they're kind of tit for tat, neck and neck kind of thing, I think you go with Anders. I really do. Not just because of the youth. I think you go with him just because of the stronger leg and the higher ceiling. I think we know what we get with a guy like Greg Joseph. And that's a big reason why he's here, is to compete in camp and to put a little bit of a fire under Anders. So, but that being said, I think Anders has the job already. I mean, it's my belief from day one. We got to give him time. I refuse to believe he had as bad of a rookie season as some fans want me to believe he had. And I think he's going to be even better this year. So looking forward to seeing him kick a couple game winners for us.
There you go, Jacob, sir.
Yeah, Tim's 100% right. There's absolutely no reason where he is in his career right now. Anders coming off of a better rookie season than Mason Crosby statistically, coming off of the pedigree of knowing Rich Bisaccia and knowing Daniel Carlson, his brother, and what he had to do. He literally said, I know exactly what I've figured out in the offseason, that what I've been doing, either was an overcorrection or an undercorrection, whatever it is. Since that time, it's been 100% almost literally in his kicking ability. He's missed one kick. One of them was over the crossbar type stuff. It's his job to lose. The physical freak, like you guys talked about, he's a massive kid. He's a 6'5" type guy. So he's got the long leg. He's one of those people when you actually, I'm told, when you hear it connect the ball, it's like, the hell was that? Like it creates a thunderistic boom. That's another. It's a meat missile that I don't think we give. The
a leg missile,
the swinging appendage meat missile. You guys know what I'm talking about.
Just the tip, though.
That's so true, Jacob, because like being a kicker, it's a lot like being a golfer. Swing. It looks so easy to just hit a golf ball. Oh yeah, just hit the golf ball. It's like anyone who's ever tried it knows it's freaking impossible to do it consistently well with any kind of skill. And the slightest tweak to your game can make all of the difference, like in your golf swing. And place kicking in the NFL, college, high school, whatever, it's the same thing. It could be how you're putting your plant leg. It could be how you're twisting your hips. Are your shoulders square? It could be, a million different things. So the fact that he knows and was able to work on that and correct it is huge. I agree.
Definitely. Yeah. All right, fellas, appreciate it. Tim, it was good to have you back, man, for sure. We'll be back tomorrow, 7 p.m. Central, to talk more Packers. Let's take a quick glance at the schedule here. I'm pretty sure, no open practice tomorrow on Monday, but they'll be back at it on Tuesday, like Tim said, 10:30 a.m. Central Time, Lambeau time. So there's a good chance Tim could make it there for one of those two practices. And then, of course, Thursday we got the Hall of Fame game, so we got preseason football. And then family night is on Saturday. So going to be a fun week of just filled with football for sure. And we're going to listen to this one more time just because I can. Xavier Legette here, boys. Let's hear it. Just soak it all in.
What's going on, Panther Nation, man? This is Xavier Legette here, man. I'm just here with a weather report. It's a little bit cloudy out here, a little bit of rain. It's been raining all morning, but we're really excited to practice in the weather here, man. Good weather. It ain't too hot. Let's do it. Keep fine.
Oh, that's funny. All right, we're out, guys. Appreciate y'all putting up with us. If you would hit that like button on the way out, feel free to subscribe to the channel. We'll be back tomorrow night going live daily with all your Packers coverage through training camp and obviously into the season, post-game shows, pre-game shows, breaking everything down, breaking the tape down during the week. We're going to be doing it all. So thank y'all so much for making us a part of your evening. For those of you listening on the pod, thank you for making us a part of your day, whether you're listening morning, afternoon, or not. As always, let's go out and be the change we want to see in the world. And go Pack, go.